There's an animal living in your home that speaks to you every single day. It greets you, it watches you, it lies down beside you. Sometimes it touches you with its head, but does it really love you? Or are we simply seeing love where there's nothing but habit? The question sounds simple, but the answer forced scientists to rethink decades of assumptions about cats. For a long time, cats were described as independent loners, animals that live alongside humans only because it's convenient. Food, warmth, a safe place to sleep, and maybe nothing more. But that picture began to fall apart, because when researchers started closely studying the behavior of domestic cats, they saw something they had barely noticed before, and cats form bonds. They seek out contact, they react when a familiar person is gone, and most importantly, they have their own language of affection. The problem is, humans have been listening to it wrong this entire time. We're used to measuring love in human ways. Hugs, words, constant attention. But a cat is not a small human in fur. It has a different evolution, different instincts, a different system of communication. The ancestors of modern house cats were solitary hunters. They didn't survive in large packs like wolves or wild dogs. Their strategy was different. Stay quiet, stay careful, never show weakness. That's why a cat's love rarely looks like a burst of emotion. It looks like permission. Permission to be near. Permission to see it vulnerable. Permission to enter its small world. And today, we're going to answer one question. What evidence proves that your cat truly trusts you? Proof number 1. It looks into your eyes and slowly closes them. Most people never even notice this moment. Cat sits nearby, looks at you, and then slowly closes its eyes. At first glance, nothing special, but in the feline world, this is a powerful signal. For a predator, eye contact carries enormous weight. A direct, unblinking stare can be a warning, a challenge, a way of sizing up a rival. So, voluntarily giving up visual control of the situation, that is an act of trust. In 2020, British researchers ran an experiment that revealed a fascinating pattern. When people slowly blinked at cats, the animals were more likely to blink back and more likely to approach. In other words, we can communicate with cats without saying a single word. But this is only the first piece of evidence, because trust doesn't begin with a look. It begins when a cat allows you into its personal space. Proof number 2, it leaves its scent on you. If your cat walks up and rubs its head against your leg, most people think it just wants to be petted, but there's far more going on. A cat's face contains special scent glands. When it touches you with its cheek or head, it leaves behind a chemical signal. To a human, it's undetectable. To a cat, it's part of a language. It's not saying, "You're my property." That's the human interpretation. Its message is far more subtle. You're familiar. You're safe. You're part of my world. In the world of cats, scent is information. It says who's nearby, who belongs to the group, who can be allowed closer. So when a cat rubs against you, it's doing something profound. It's including you in its social world. But there's something even more remarkable. A cat can show you something it almost never shows a random creature in the wild. Its vulnerability, connections. Proof number 3, it sleeps beside you. Sleep is a moment of complete defenselessness. In the wild, an animal that falls asleep in the wrong place may never wake up, so choosing where to sleep is a matter of survival. If your cat falls asleep next to you, it's doing more than just seeking warmth. It's choosing you as part of its safe space. And there's one moment that's especially telling, when a cat turns its back to you. To a human, that might seem strange, but in cat language, it means, I don't expect danger from you. It's not tracking your every move. It's not keeping its distance, it relaxes. And for an animal evolutionarily wired to stay on guard, that is one of the strongest displays of trust there is. But here's where an interesting question comes up. If cats truly bond with humans, why do they sometimes act like they don't need anyone? Why can they ignore you for hours? Why don't they always want contact? Maybe the answer isn't that cats don't love. It's that we still don't understand how they love. And that's exactly what we're about to see. Language of trust. The signals humans misread. If a cat truly becomes attached to a person, why does it so often seem indifferent? Why does it come to you for affection and walk away a minute later? Why does it sometimes ask for attention and then suddenly decide it's had enough? To a human, it looks contradictory, but to a cat, it's perfectly logical. Because feline affection isn't built on constant contact, it's built on choice. A cat doesn't show trust by staying near you all the time. It shows trust by having every opportunity to leave and choosing to stay. Proof number 4. It purrs beside you. Few sounds are more strongly associated with cats than purring. For most people, it's a simple equation: purring equals happy. But science has shown it's far more complicated. Cats don't purr only when they feel good. They can purr under stress, in pain, while recovering from injury. And so purring by itself is not proof of love. What matters is context. Kate, picture 2 situations. The first, a cat is at the vet clinic, tense and frightened. It's purring. Second, it comes to you in the evening, settles in beside you, its body relaxes, its eyes slowly close, and it begins to purr. That's an entirely different story. What matters here isn't the sound. It's that the cat chose you as its place of calm. Some researchers believe purring serves a social function. Tiny kittens use it to communicate with their mother. And in adulthood, that behavior may remain a way of maintaining closeness with those they trust. Maybe when your cat purrs beside you, it's returning to one of the oldest forms of safety it has known since birth. But there's another signal that gets misread even more often. It can look like a request. In reality, it might be the greatest compliment of all. H. Proof number 5. It shows you its belly. The cat rolls onto its back, exposes its belly, lies there, completely relaxed. To a human, the meaning seems obvious. It wants a belly rub. But this is where many owners fall into a trap. The hand reaches down, and in a split second, the cat wraps its paws around it, or delivers a gentle bite. What happened? Did it change its mind? No. We simply mistranslated its language. The belly is one of the most vulnerable areas of a cat's body. No protection, no quick escape. In nature, an animal doesn't expose this part of its body to anyone it doesn't trust. So when a cat lies on its back in front of you, the message is, above all, I feel safe enough to be defenseless. But trust doesn't always mean permission to touch. For them, love isn't possession. It's respect for boundaries. Sometimes the greatest act of love toward a cat is not to pet it, but to know when not to. Now, it's freeze. Proof number 6. It needs you with its paws. A soft motion of the front paws, one paw, then the other, as if the cat were kneading dough. For many owners, it's one of the most adorable behaviors of all. But behind this gesture lies a very old story. Kittens make these movements against their mother's belly while nursing. It helps stimulate the flow of milk. Over time, the motion becomes woven into their earliest memories of comfort and safety. That's why an adult cat often repeats it when it feels completely at peace, on a blanket, in its favorite spot, or right on top of you. It's like a small memory carried over from kittenhood, a moment when the world was simple. There was warmth, there was mother, there was safety. And when a cat does this beside you, it's bringing that feeling into the space you share. But the most fascinating proofs of love often don't look like tenderness at all. Sometimes they look like something completely baffling, even unpleasant. Number 7, it brings you gifts. You walk into the room, and there it is, a toy mouse, and sometimes actual prey. The first human reaction: why would it do that? But try looking at the situation through the cat's eyes. For a cat, hunting isn't just about food, it's a skill. It's part of its nature. In the wild, a successful hunter has a resource worth sharing with those close to it. That's why some researchers believe bringing prey may be a form of social behavior. Like a message, I found something important, I'm sharing it with you. A cat doesn't bring its catch to just anyone. It brings it to someone it considers part of its world. By now, an interesting picture is coming into focus. A cat doesn't love the way a human does. It doesn't explain its feelings with words. It doesn't display them constantly. But over and over again, it does the same thing. It allows a human to come close. It shares its space. It shares its scent. It shares its calm, and perhaps that is the most meaningful form of trust there is. But a few final proofs remain, and among them is one that has nothing to do with food, nothing to do with play, nothing to do with comfort. It has to do with choice. The final proof: when a cat chooses you. We began this story with a simple question: can a cat truly love a human? Along the way, we've seen plenty of evidence. The slow blink, the head bump, sleeping beside you, purring, vulnerability. But all of these things share one common trait. They don't happen automatically. It chooses. Proof number 8, it greets you. There's a moment many owners take for granted. You open the door, and the cat is already there, in the hallway, watching you. Maybe it walks over, maybe it simply observes. To a human, it might seem insignificant, but in the world of cats, initiative matters. Cats don't spend energy without reason. If an animal regularly seeks out your presence, responds to your return, and adjusts its behavior to the rhythm of your life, that points to a genuine social bond. It doesn't merely tolerate your presence, it notices it. But there's an even subtler signal, one that's easy to miss because it seems too simple. Proof number 9, it follows you. The kitchen, the bathroom, the next room, you move through the house, and a few seconds later, the cat appears behind you. Of course, sometimes the reason is simple. Maybe it's expecting food, maybe it's just curious. But when this behavior repeats constantly, it can be a sign of social attachment. In psychology, there's a concept called a secure base. It's a person or a place that makes another being feel calmer and more confident just by being near. Some domestic cats use the human not merely as a source of resources, but as an anchor of emotional stability. Sometimes a cat follows you not because it needs something, but because it simply feels better when you're near. And proof number 10, it grooms you. The cat comes over, starts licking your hand or your hair. To a human, it might look odd, but for cats, grooming is far more than hygiene. In feline social groups, mutual grooming helps strengthen bonds. It's the behavior of those who are close, those who can be trusted. When a cat does this with a human, it's extending to you one of the oldest social rituals of its species. It's treating you as though you're not just a resident of its territory. You're part of its group, its family, its world. But we've saved the most important proof for last, because all the previous signs only make sense together. The final proof. It lets you see its true self. Perhaps the truest sign of a cat's love isn't what it does, it's who it becomes around you. Look at a cat that lives in safety. It doesn't hide all the time. It isn't tense. It isn't braced for danger. It eats calmly. It plays. It grooms itself. It stretches out in the middle of the room. It falls asleep in ridiculous positions. It yawns without fear. It all looks like ordinary, everyday life. But in reality, this is the highest level of trust there is. It's showing you its state of peace. It allows itself to be who it truly is, when survival is no longer the priority.